Launching rockets is hard. Most of the time we get it right, but sometimes unexpected things happen. Perhaps it's because of a stage failure, or perhaps it's because of using a daring prototype, like SpaceX's Starship. But, as devastating as a failure can feel, it can help the teams behind these launches to learn and grow, helping them to continue to improve spaceflight. In this video, we will compare the rocket failure of NASA and SpaceX. Both are the property of Americans, however, there are still some differences that exist between them. SpaceX is a privately owned company founded by Elon Musk, the highly revered private space entrepreneur. NASA, on the other hand, is a government-owned and funded organization. But they are equally SpaceX's biggest customers. Space launch services have long been the only source of revenue for SpaceX. And the company launches both commercial and military satellites for its clients. In this video, we will see 4 main rocket explosion of SpaceX which happened in 2021, and 5 NASA's rocket failure which caused the death of astronaut crew members. Before we jump to the explosions, please explode the subscribe button to be our family and hit the like button if you find the video useful. When we talk about SpaceX, you may ask what SpaceX is. Here is what you need to know. SpaceX is a cash-flushed rocket company that wants to take man to Mars. It was set up by eccentric billionaire Elon Musk in 2002 and is based in Hawthorne, California. SpaceX's first aim was to build rockets that can autonomously land back on Earth for refurbishment and reuse. The technology makes launching and operating spaceflights more efficient, and therefore cheaper. SpaceX currently uses its reusable Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets to fly cargo to the International Space Station, ISS, for NASA. It also carries satellites and other space tech into orbit for various government agencies and multinational companies. The company took astronauts to the ISS for the first time in 2020. Other future missions involve carrying tourists to the ISS and astronauts to the Moon and Mars. Musk has repeatedly said he believes humanity must colonize Mars to save itself from extinction. He plans to get a SpaceX rocket to the Red Planet by 2027. To achieve his goal, he is building a rocket named Starship. The company said, Starship is designed to carry both crew and cargo on long-duration, interplanetary flights and help humanity return to the Moon, and travel to Mars and beyond. Now let's get to the mess. On the 9th of December 2020, Starship prototype SN8 performed the first high-altitude test flight, demonstrating most of the atmospheric re-entry profile in the lower atmosphere. The test was deemed a success by SpaceX, although a hard landing caused the explosion of the prototype. On the 2nd of February 2021, SN9's flight took to 10 km altitude. The flight went well up until the landing, where one of the Raptor engines did not relight, causing a failure to counteract the momentum of the landing flip maneuver.
We're beginning to flip to horizontal, and the white cloud, the plume you were seeing, was intentional. There's a liquid oxygen dump. We've now transitioned to horizontal and beginning the subsonic test portion of the flight for the landing burn.
This failure caused SN9 to slam into the ground diagonally and explode. Starship SN-10 performed the same test profile but used all three engines for the final flip maneuver, successfully decelerating enough to land intact. Several minutes after the landing, the Starship exploded and was tossed in the air, before slamming down on its side on the landing pad.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Starship SN-11 was launched to 10 kilometers on the 30th of March 2021, as heavy fog covered the launch site. Telemetry was lost about 5 minutes and 49 seconds after launch as the vehicle disintegrated during its landing attempt. The explosion was caused by a methane leak in one of the Raptor engines, which led to a malfunction when it attempted to relight for the landing burn. Remember to subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with people. The NASA has successfully launched over 200 crewed flights. Launching rockets to space is a high-stakes, unforgiving business, with razor-thin margins between success and failure. Here are some examples from recent history that reminds us of how tough this business can be. Atlas Venture 1962. The vehicle was launched on the 8th of May 1962. With the intention of performing a single burn with a partially fueled Centaur. Slightly under a minute into the launch, the Centaur stage ruptured and disintegrated, taking the Atlas with it in a matter of seconds. It was unclear what had caused the failure at first, as tracking camera footage merely showed a large white cloud enveloping the booster, followed by the explosion of the entire launch vehicle. Initial assumptions were that Atlas had suffered a LOX tank failure, either from a pressurization problem, rupture of the tank from flying debris, or structural bending, aerodynamic issues caused by the unproven Atlas-Centaur combination. And indeed, there had been several previous occurrences of these failure modes on Atlas launches. The Space Shuttle Challenger. The Space Shuttle Challenger disaster was a fatal incident in the United States space program that occurred on January 28, 1986, when the Space Shuttle Challenger, OV-099, broke apart 73 seconds into its flight, killing all 7 crew members aboard. The crew consisted of 5 NASA astronauts and 2 payload specialists.
Challenger now heading downrange. Nautical miles, downrange distance 3 nautical miles. Engines throttling up, 3 engines now at 104%.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
Challenger, go at throttle up. 1 minute 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
Antares. The first 4 Antares launch attempts were successful. During the 5th launch on October 28, 2014, the attempted launch of an Antares carrying a Cygnus cargo spacecraft on the Orb-3 resupply mission failed catastrophically 6 seconds after liftoff from Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport at Wallops Flight Facility, Virginia. An explosion occurred in the thrust section just as the vehicle cleared the tower, and it fell back down onto the launch pad. The range safety officer sent the destruct command just before impact. There were no injuries. Space Shuttle Columbia disaster. The disintegration of the Space Shuttle Columbia on February 1, 2003, as it re-entered the atmosphere was another of the most traumatic accidents in the history of space expedition. The accident was caused during liftoff by the breaking off of a piece of foam that was intended to absorb and insulate the fuel tank of the shuttle from heat and to stop ice from forming. The large piece of foam fell on the shuttle's left wing and created a hole. The entire crew of 6 American astronauts and the first Israeli astronaut in space died in the accident. Remember to subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with people.